So one of the most important things, and obviously the first thing here at a garden center that we're going to talk about today, is soil. Everything in a garden center starts with soil. So we're going to start right at the root of what's going on here behind the scenes of the garden center. And right now, this is a fast-paced area. There's a lot of containers getting filled with this soil. Past years, we've gone through many companies, different ingredients, different soil concoctions that have come up with, and the industry has changed. The industry has changed a lot in what's being used in this soil for decades. Literally, my grandfather Stan actually started in earthen soil, topsoil that you get out of the ground, and mixed things like sphagnum peat in it. There is no longer any actual earth and soil in this mix. This is just a mix of what I'm going to show you a little bit of something called hydrofiber or a wood fiber. It's kind of replacing some of the ingredients now in these more modern soils that used to see the white fleck that is called perlite, and then some gold stuff called vermiculite. All that is really mined out of the earth. It's becoming a little bit more difficult to get. It's being harmful in the way we're getting it. So that's gone by the wayside in this soil. This soil here has a lot of that hydrofiber, which is a renewable resource. It's a wood spun product. Very much ends up like the insulation in your home. That pink panther stuff in your house, that's kind of how this wood is incorporated into this soil. So we are kind of here on with the trend or on the cutting edge of the migration to this type of soil. Oh, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, we got a machine that actually minimizes the amount of freight for the soil that we use. It actually produces a more even crop as far as the type of soil going into the container, and that's being done by these skyscrapers. These skyscraper bales here are super compressed soil, super dry. They're wrapped really tight so they're sealed, so they're nice and sterile. And this here has 110 cubic foot compressed that fluffs or grinds or refines back into 220. So we literally have to ship half the amount of pallets or skyscrapers that we used to when we bought soil in the loose form, like you'd buy at your local garden center. If you're going to go buy a bag of soil, it's generally going to be loose or fluffy. This is super, super hard, compressed, and dry. This machine here is what puts it back to its fluffy state. So I'm going to show you that. This skyscraper comes out just like this one big cube, and it's nice and solid, nice and tight, very dry. So you're not shipping a lot of unnecessary weight, a lot of unnecessary air. That nice, tight, compressed bale then gets ground back up with these teeth, and it's reinserted with some water that it fills into the hopper on the other side. The hopper on the other side is what puts that fluffy soil into the containers. We just, at Stan's, have had a change in the machine. The machine we used to have was about as old as me. I'm not kidding. It was really rickety. We were putting bearings and chains and things together to get it to run every year. So we finally invested in this new flat filler machine. We're gonna walk over on the other side and show you what happens after the soil gets refluffed back up. Okay, so here's a good shot of the soil. All right, this is kind of stuff that's just fallen down. But this soil here, you can see the little white strands, the little strings it looks like. That's the hydrofiber, and it's basically sphagnum peat and that hydrofiber. That's predominantly the two majority ingredients. So if you want to talk about soil a little bit, sphagnum peat's very acidic. And in one of the shows here in the future, stay tuned on our channel here, we're going to show you about the adjustment of pH and what we're doing at a commercial garden center to keep the pH where the plant likes it. But sphagnum pH is very, very low. So in order for our plants to grow, there's a little bit of a lime charge that's in here that keeps the pH much more even or neutral, closer to 7 than sphagnum peat would be like 5 or 5.2. So enough about chemistry. We'll talk about all the different containers we fill. You'll see a lot of these containers here. We've already filled the gallons. This is for perennial production. The reason I bring that up is the use of this soil has actually made it so that we grow almost everything. And I literally mean almost every single plant, perennials, whether they're annuals, hanging baskets, 1203 flats, the small cells, seeded material grown from cuttings, which we're going to explain in a future podcast as well, how we produce cuttings and seeds. Almost everything we grow here is grown in one soil because it's that uniform. It's that stable. It can be grown, or it can grow a host of different things. So without making you wait any longer, we're going to come over here and show you this new S&B flat filler. We had an old rickety one that took up probably 3 times the amount of space that this one does. It was way louder. It created a lot of dust in the air and stuff like that. So this is a much more compact machine. The soil comes out of the hopper. We haven't even really built our hopper yet. This is so new to us. So that machine there is putting water back in it. It comes down the plastic into this hopper here, and that hopper puts the soil on top of the container to be filled, which, like this, was a gallon. And we try to fill this soil as moist as possible. Hydrofiber, the wood product, takes a little bit longer than some of the older soils to absorb moisture. So we try to put as much moisture as we can in so that it sits nice and moist. Then that soil doesn't lose its profile or collapse. It has a lot of resistance and it holds that air. So there's water that's incorporated back into this soil that keeps it nice and fluffy for that plant. So Alyssa and I are going to fill a little bit of gallon pots here so that you can see how simple it is for them to literally go through. There are 2 to 3 staff members that stand at this machine 5 to 6 days a week, basically from the 1st of March to the 1st of June. That's all they do is stand here and fill containers. To give you a rough idea, we're a little over 25,000 hanging baskets that we grow. We are in the cell pack area, which the flats that we're going to show you, we're about 130,000 flats of them. So it's a lot of soil that gets put into these containers in a short period of time. So Alyssa and I are going to run through some gallon pots so you can see this machine run. I'm real happy with this machine. It's super easy to adjust. So, you know, the fine tuning, now there's a start and a stop on both sides so that either side can start and stop it. It returns the soil nice and neat so that it's not, you know, spilling a bunch out. It's really a pretty reliable machine so far. We've only run it about 2 months, but we like it quite a bit. And you're going to find as we turn it on, it's going to be super quiet.
Ready?
Yep. So you don't even know it's really running. As the soil comes off the belt here, it returns to an auger that simply goes back up and recycles it. Really easy to catch. We have a conveyor belt that we're not using right now, but that there is all it takes to fill lots and lots of containers. Alyssa here is going to toss us a flat. I don't think they'll fit through.
No, your bar's too close.
We're going to adjust you. Also really simple to adjust. Okay, good.
Ready?
Yep. Okay. I didn't quite fine tune it, but it will run absolutely everything right through that machine. That's a 1203, so you get 12 packs of 3 cells. That's 36 plants. So we do about 130,000 flats like that of seeds that go in. So a couple things for future reference we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the water that goes in. We're going to talk about nutrition. So huge with plants is the moisture, nutrition, and light. Those are your 3 primary things that growers are going to pay attention to. So we're going to talk about that in future episodes to come. So stay tuned.